So, morning on Longer Lake. We're just packing up camp here. We're headed over to Big Trout, so it's a very, very small day. We'll probably fish. There's a little bay just before the portage into Big Trout. We'll fish there for a little bit, see what if we can get anything, and then we'll take the portage and we'll fish the other side a little bit before we head across Big Trout to our camp. It's a bit of a windy day. They were announcing 20 degrees and sun for today before we left. That could have changed, but we'll see how the day goes. Right now it's a little gray and windy. So, bottom of the falls over here. First cast with my Thompson, and I hooked up. Nice little brookie here. Oh, I didn't have to get it off, that's good. So, we just fished the little rapids in Longer in the bay. Hook up that one brookie in the rapids. Got another one that came off about 4 feet from the boat. Not a big fish, but so now we're doing our one semi-small portage of the day along to Big Trout, which is where we're spending the day. And welcome to Big Trout. Alright, so we attempted our travel across Big Trout, only to be greeted with high waves and whitecaps and lots of wind. So we're actually stopped at one of the closest campsites for us, actually me and John stayed at last year, which is a nice campsite. So we're going to see if things settle down. If they don't, then we're just going to make camp here for the night and get up super early, and hopefully the trout is calmer. So we've been here on this campsite for about a half an hour now, and it does not look like Big Trout's settling down at all. It actually looks like it's getting worse. Much worse. If we put it to a vote, I just say we hunker down here or throw up a tarp and have some lunch, and expect to stay here, but if it clears up, back it up and go. But like I said, nothing but crazy whitecaps. Even if we hug the inside of this bay and go back out to that point where there's another campsite, we're going to be battling the wind the whole way along that far shore. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we set up a little windbreak with one of the tarps down on the least windiest point of the campsite, and essentially things died down a little bit as soon as we got set up, so we just had some lunch. I'm just going out front to check out what it looks like. The bay looks a little bit less windy, and well, there's a lot less chop, that's for sure. Seems much more seaworthy, much calmer. There she is. Hopefully she stays like this so we can get across and get to a campsite that we want to stay at. So we managed to make it from that other campsite to the next point where there's another campsite, which me, John, and Mike stayed at a couple of years back, which is a really nice campsite, but also extremely windy. Okay, so finally made it our way down Big Trout. We found this nice spot here. There's actually another nicer spot that was very lush with green grass, but no spots for the hammocks whatsoever. So here we are. We're gonna set up. It's misting a little bit. Set up camp for the night, and then head over through Merchant down into Happy tomorrow. Okay, so packing up morning on Big Trout Lake. What a difference out there. Perfectly calm. Nothing like yesterday. Been on this lake a couple of times, and it's hit and miss. It's you could start paddling in this, and next thing you know, it's hellfire and brimstone. So anyway, that group's backing up his hammock back there. We're about to head down towards the marsh into Merchant, and then from Merchant to Happy, and hopefully we can get the island site that me and John stayed at the very first trip that we were on. Okay, so we just had a little sugar snack, starting the portage from Big Trout to Merchant. From what I remember, this 18 is not crazy difficult. There might be a couple of hills, but all in all, I think it's a decent portage. I remember it being rocky, but other than that, was a couple of years back, so we'll see how she goes. First sunlight we've seen, really, a couple of days. Yeah, it's rocky. So we just did the portage from Big Trout to Merchant. We did it in 3 goes. It actually went really, really well. So we just stopped twice to drop the canoe, take a shoulder break. And Merchant seems pretty calm. So we got to go all the way across to the other side and into Happy. So Merchant seems calm for now, which is something we're really not used to. Like I said, it's usually just wind whipping through here, and it's just insane.
And your sunglasses are so good, it got darker for me too.
Making our way to the Happy portage, and it's a small portage. Like I said, aiming for the island site. So we went past the wrong point, and we had to battle this to turn to get to the portage. There you go. I hate Merchant. Boy. Okay, on our way to Happy. God, do I hate Merchant. Every time a Merchant. Just think you're okay, and then next thing you know, like I said, hellfire and brimstone. And it's not a big lake either. It's just I always seem to be fighting wind and wave. Let's hope that oh, mosquitoes. First mosquitoes really of the trip. I've seen flying on a portage, or on a campsite for that matter. There's lots of them. So maybe they've had better weather on this side of the park. Anyway, hopefully Happy is not windy and not wavy, and we get the campsite we want. Hey, so we're into Happy Isle. It seems calm in this little bay. Once we come around the point, we might have a little bit of wind to contend with, but we don't have very far, but a 20-25 minute paddle to the island. So hopefully the sun stays out, maybe dry out some socks and whatnot. Get our clothes lined up and dry some shoes out. Not that it makes a difference because they're just going to get wet again tomorrow. But at least have one day, put on some dry socks in the morning instead of wet ones. Just gorgeous out here though. And John's way up there. But the point, there's usually somebody always camping on that when we have passed it in the past. Here we are on Happy Isle. It's actually the island campsite. It's not the one we wanted. Somebody was there, a little beige Novacraft canoe when we got there. Didn't see anybody up top, but there's a canoe. So anyway, we have another one. A big, massive stone fireplace, a Flintstones couch, and there's a saw back there. Lots of wood. So we could have a fire tonight if we wanted to. Anyway, pretty decent. Lots of places for hammocks. So I walked over just in the middle comment section because a couple of years back I had carved my initials and my wife's initials in a tree. I still wanted to see if they were still there, so I went by that canoe, which I thought was a Novacraft, but it's a Scott aluminum canoe, and it's just filled with water. You can't really see from the water. So I went up to the other campsite where the plaque is, and there's nobody there. So we're moving. No more Flintstones couch, but we got the campsite we wanted. Yeah, so here we are. The campsite I wanted. I've been trying to get it for the past couple of years too. Oh, we're halfway through the trip. It's like 1:30, almost 2 maybe. One of our easy days actually turned out to be an easy day, except for the fact that we had to fight through Merchant towards the end. But all in all, it's going pretty good. So I'm actually going to set up my hammock between the two trees in the shot here, so that I can look out and have this as my view from my bed. We do have some firewood that was left here, so we might have a fire tonight. But yeah, I mean, I do miss everybody at home, but I mean, it's so quiet and tranquil here that you know, I wish they were here with me, but you know, this isn't their thing, so I get that, just like they get that this is my thing. So there's John freeing up his line. He got snagged in the rocks earlier when we were fishing in front of the campsite. None of us, or neither of us, got any bites. So he's going to fill up the platypus reservoir at the same time. So we don't have to deal with the particulates in the water. So while I'm down here, I'm going to show you, there's a little path that goes in front of this campsite to the plaque. I can't remember exactly what it says, although I've seen it, photographed it a bunch of times. It's so here's what it says here. So I came down to the third site on this island site. Lots of places to fish from shore, but it's very rocky, and it keeps snagging if you don't bring in your lure quick enough. I've already lost one lure on the other campsite. So anyway, I figured I would film this campsite just to give you an idea what the three of them look like. I'll do ours when I get back over there later, but it's pretty much wide open. Fire pit, benches, somebody with a citronella candle, enough baskets and grills to, I don't know, work at McDonald's, I guess. So anyway, looks like high water, the fish on the lakes are probably a little bit deeper because we haven't really seen a whole lot of fish sign. We saw one fish on the surface when we were on Longer Lake, and then I caught one fish in the rapids, and then one that I didn't quite set the hook well enough, and he's kind of spat it about 6 feet from the boat. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm just enjoying being out here. So that's about it. So a couple of years ago when we were here, I took a walk around the island and I found this really cool knot. It's pretty much the knot from the inside of the tree. Anyway, I thought it was really cool. And yeah, there it is. Okay, so like I said, I'd show you this campsite as well. That's where you put the boats in, down there. And then here's the fire pit. Somebody made some chairs, or just a chair. We have our bug shelter up here, which is kind of a good thing tonight because the black flies are coming out. I have my hammock set up here, just over the water. And then G and, or John, sorry, as you guys know him, I know him as G, but we're set up back here, John and Edgar, side by each. So, once again, this is the hammock, Premier, and Edgar, I lent him my Winter Dream 12, and he's using a Dutch Wear Chameleon. So that's pretty much the camp. Nice space. So this is my my view from my hammock. That's what I get to wake up through the morning. No water. Hopefully no rain. Oh, fire's dwindling out. John's gonna stay by the fire for a bit. Catch you all tomorrow. Here we are on Wednesday morning, assuming Wednesday, yeah. Happy Isle is just super calm, gorgeous. I was woken up by a grouse flopping its way through camp this morning. So I just got my my hammock I'm taking down. We're packing up and heading down towards that way and over towards Otter Slide. We have 3 portages, the biggest one being like an 1145. And to Little Otter Slide, just with a paddle. So anyway, on a sub note, every night I've been reading a book I brought with me. It's Once Around Algonquin by Kevin Keller. I'm really enjoying it so far. Me and Kevin have actually talked on Messenger a couple of times. He's a really nice guy. So far, like I said, I'm really enjoying the book. Nice to relate to people that think about this the same way that me and John do. Even some of the words that he uses. His opening chapter is finding my happy place, and that's what this is. This is my happy place. I love being at home. I love being with my wife and family, but I can't have that all the time. Whereas here, I come here for a week, and I get this 24/7. So, yeah. All right. See you guys later. Okay, so we're leaving camp at Happy Isle, headed down towards Otter Slide, and paddle Otter Slide into Little Otter Slide, which is where we're staying for the night. Okay, so we're leaving Happy Isle in our way to a series of 3 portages. First one is to Shiner, which is a little pond, I guess, 950. We haven't done this portage in a while in this direction. Remember them being very nice, open, but up and down and up and down. So, you know, we'll get through it. In this marsh over here. Just waiting for John to put his boat in. It's very, very squishy. Next to impossible to put in. So anyway, we're gonna meander up this little creek, maybe see some wildlife, hopefully, and then into another portage into Otter Slide. Beaver Lodge up there. We come into Mike Lake. Okay, so we are going from Pond to Otter Slide, 540 I believe. On the map, on Just Maps, it says Mike Lake. So So I think somebody named Mike just decided that he wanted to name a pond Mike Lake. Was it you, Mike? Anyway, so we're gonna stop on Otter Slide, probably on one of the campsites we've already stayed at. Have some lunch and head down through the narrowing into Little Otter Slide, where we will set camp for the night. Okay, so I stepped off the boardwalk and stuck my leg up to the knee in this muck. Anyway, stay on the boardwalk. Oh, a little hill. So we stopped on Otter Slide for some lunch. Now we're heading down to towards the narrowing into Little Otter Slide for the night. John's up ahead fishing. We got lake trout in this lake, so we put on a deep diver and hope for the best, I guess. So here we are on our campsite at Little Otter Slide. The first one that we stopped at was completely, I mean, it was usable, but it was not nice at all. I mean, this one here has this mountain of collapsed wood behind it and moose poop everywhere, but it's open and there's a little bit of firewood and hammocks go up. Well, we're going to throw up the bug shelter because if the wind doesn't keep up, it will be a little buggy. There we are, Little Otter Slide. I'll walk you around our camp here. John's fishing down there. A little tiny fish with a bobber, see if he can get anything. There's a little bit of fish sign in the water, just by the shore. Boats are there. Bug tent. There's Edgar.
Happy camper here.
That's already taken, my friend. Somebody else is already the happy camper.
Copy Mexican camper.
Yeah, Amok. Me and Edgar set up back here to tune into Dreams 13 and 12. And then Thunderbox is back in this desolate landscape back here. Yeah. Wide open, but anyway, there it is. Okay, so it's morning, Thursday morning on Otter Slide, a little Otter Slide. Got mixed emotions about being out here today because it's my little girl's prom tonight, and I was really thinking about canceling the trip just so I could be there, but her and my wife both assured me that I'd probably only see her for about 15 minutes before she got on the party boat and disappeared for the weekend of festivities. So, thinking about her today. Okay, so we're back onto a little Otter Slide. John did some fishing, didn't hear any woohoos, so I doubt he got anything. So we have a 790 into Burnt Island Lake, which we will follow the shore up towards the north and head up towards Sunbeam. We'll do a series of small portages rather than paddle the entire lake and head through the other way. So it's a little bit longer in portaging, a little bit more in and out of the boat. We're going to break for lunch, or early lunch, on Sunbeam. Throw some lines, maybe catch some brookies, and then we're going to head over into Thompson for the night. We figured we'd do it this way, not only just to hit some more lakes to have brook trout, but we were at camp at like 2:30 yesterday, so we were just sitting around most of the time. You know, it doesn't take too long to do what you got to do, so, especially when the weather's nice. But yeah, the lake is super calm. Hey guys, so just did that 780 in one go, single carry. Probably carrying anywhere between 88 to 95 pounds. So, you know, it's good. I'm getting my portage legs on. Edgar's carrying my food because he's not carrying the canoe, so unfortunately my bag weight won't go down, but I'm doing pretty good. Now this is a really nice looking lake. Very nice. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, so we're on to Burnt Island Lake. I wonder if there's actually a burnt island on here. That'd be, anyway, we're gonna head up over past 2 points and then swing it north a little bit up towards Sunbeam. Okay, so we just finished our little series of small portages and ponds and whatnot. This is a 3-something into sunfish that have brook trout, so hopefully the fact that it has brook trout and the fact that it just kind of sprinkled rain a little bit, maybe we'll have fish for lunch, but time will tell. Yeah, so on another note, trying to keep my mind off of my daughter's prom. It's very hard for me. Until my wife came along, I was a single dad, and I'm the guy that was there with all the mothers. Kindergarten, boarding, single dad and his little girl, and haven't really missed anything in her life. And she's gonna be turning 18 soon, so I wish I was there for that. But I guarantee if it was her graduation, I would have definitely rescheduled this trip to be there. So so we stopped for lunch on Sunbeam. It was a little too windy to fish, so we stopped at the campsite, had some lunch, had some ramen noodles, and Edgar had the pepperoni sticks, wraps, cheese. We have a series of 4 portages into Thompson, where we'll be camping for the night. Okay, so there's this rocky bit here. We got 130 straight up. Pouring rain. Actually, it's just raining. It's not pouring. Soaking wet. Trying to get Thompson. I believe after this one we have one more portage or something. Can't wait to be dry. Okay, so just did a series of portages. Rained the entire time, pretty much since lunch. Now we're going to go through Bartlett Lake into Thompson, find a campsite, put up a tarp, change some clothes, get some hot coffee. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, well, we're into Thompson Lake after traveling all day, well, since lunch in the rain. And I don't know if there's any decent campsites, but we passed about, well, we checked out 5, we're on the 6th one right now, which we're just barely getting by the 3 hammocks and the tarp for the rain. Passed by a couple of other ones that people were on. They didn't look very good either, so I don't know if there's any good campsites on this lake. There is a bonus here. If it does clear up, we can fish here off the rock, because we didn't do much fishing today. Although there's only Lakers in here, but I'm not impressed with Thompson so far. Yeah, so we hung our hammocks, and as we were hanging our hammocks, a bunch of kids from the next camp were hiking along the side of the water. It's a good thing none of us were getting changed or on the Thunderbox at the time. But anyway, they headed up the mountain, and then about 5 minutes later, there was a group of canoeists come through with 4 canoes, and they were singing songs. And I mean, nothing against it. Just it was a very long day, and I could have done without it. So anyway, like I said, not loving this lake so far. Even the Thunderbox is at the very, very top of the hill, and I've just been informed that it's facing the water. That's funny. Anyway, it's one of those things. You had one job to do. Anyway, all right, catch up with you later. Okay, so everything's set up here on Thompson. The rain stopped and the wind died down significantly. There's still a little bit of wind. So we started fishing off one of the rocks. The 4th cast in, I hooked up a Laker, and as I was pulling to set the hook, he spit it, and I couldn't get it in. So it was like a simultaneous movement at the same time. Anyway, at least I hooked one up, and that's nice. You know, gives you hope. So John and Edgar are still down throwing lures. I'm just sitting down on my chair. My back is a little sensitive today. So yeah. So tomorrow, the plan was to go into Timberwolf and spend the night, and then the last night on Sawyer. But we figured that if the weather is so-so, we're going to do one of our annual May marathons back to the truck, but not the truck. We're going to work our way up in the Timberwolf Misty, over to the Petawawa, up into Queer, and then either spend the night at Little Trout or Ralph Bice, and then we'll have a short 2 hours, hour and a half, depending on where we are, to the truck, because we have a 7-hour drive home. So we'll go out a day early. If the fishing was a little bit better on the lakes, then we'd probably stick with our original plan, or if the weather was a little bit nicer. But we had a good trip so far, so we'll introduce Edgar to the May Marathon, and do a bunch of paddling and about 8K of portage tomorrow, to get as close to the truck as possible for Saturday morning. Alright, well, I'll let you know if anybody gets some fish. Okay, so just had supper on Thompson. I got the kitchen tent bug shelter up this little path where John has his hammock right behind that. Boats are up on shore, drying out all the gear from today. Yeah. Sun's out now. Me and Edgar are set up on the only other 2 trees that we can really set up on. There's lots of evergreens here, so they're all tiny. So there we are. And then if we walk back here, there's a path up that hill to the Thunderbox. So yeah, it's a little Spartan, but we made it work. So okay, so morning on Thompson. We all got up early, had breakfast, coffee, packing up our stuff. Me and John are ready. Edgar's just packing his bag now. So we're about to start the May Marathon, and hopefully we'll get to Little Trip. Right, see you later. Okay, so on to Thompson. He's not a fan of this lake, but it worked for the night. And we start the marathon towards Little Trout or Ralph Bice. Okay, into the 2.3, into Ink Lake. Very crazy mud. I'll just soldier through it at a medium pace. There's my portage partner down there, Edgar. Essentially the whole trip I've carried my gear and the canoe, and then Edgar had my food. And seeing as how we're doing a marathon day, and John and Edgar both have their bags weight going down, Edgar took my my possibles pouch and my chair, and I'm about 5 pounds lighter now, so that's working out. I mean, I was working out before too, but because we have about 7.5K of portage today, I'll take the extra 5 pounds off, no problem. I'm not going to say no. Long boardwalk. Sun's starting to come out. No signs of wildlife yet. Not even a chipmunk. Well, it's just to prove that we actually did get some sunshine on this trip. There's the sun peeking through the Portage Trail. We're gonna have a nice travel day today. Just gonna stay on the water, that's all. So, took a tumble off a log back there. There was a big, huge puddle in the middle of the Portage Trail. I saw a log off to the side, so I figured I'd try and scurry down it. But twigs kind of caught my shoes, and I went off to the side. The boat actually landed on its hull, and I landed inside the boat the whole time, just thinking, don't break the yoke, because that would suck. And I got lucky. No damage to the boat, no damage to me. Just pride. So we have stairs coming down to this lake. Paddled Macintosh, and that's Portage into Timberwolf. Macintosh was a little windy, but we hugged the shore and we got through it. So when we're on the Portage Trail, I see these little purple flowers that remind me of my wife, because she has a shirt that color and I like it on her. Anyway, just a note. Hey, so we're starting to paddle across Timberwolf. Not a very big lake. We did it last year on the way out as well. Can't read the map because it's kind of a frosted map case. It's either a 6:45 or an 8:45 to Misty. I think it's a 6:45 to tell you the truth, but over there on the left we have Snake Island, and yeah, things are going well so far. So Misty will cut over, start heading west, and then we'll portage into the Petawawa, and then hit the 2.8, 2.3, something like that, into Queer. Okay, so we're into Queer Lake here. That was a long portage. I think we're starting to lose steam, so we're going to have some lunch up here. Edgar noticed that. Oh, whoa! Okay. So it's 4:30. What's that? Yeah. So we just did the big portage into Queer. It was pretty long and we're getting a little burnt out, ready for lunch. So we're gonna stop at the whole campsite, have some lunch, and make some decisions. Okay, so now we just had lunch on Queer. We headed up Queer to the 175 at the the little trout. Had a little trout. 4 something into Ralph Bice, and then down Ralph Bice into Hambone, back to the man. A good one, access point. It's probably about 1:15, 1:30 maybe. We should be up the truck by maybe 4. We're gonna stop for pizza and beer. Okay, so we're into little trout, doing like a tiny 175, I believe. Paddle to the end of this, Place. Okay, so now we're on the 475, I believe, from Little Trout to Ralph Bice. Hopefully we can get through the Bice without any crazy wind, because then we just have a little portage into Hambone, short paddle through Hambone, tiny portage into Magnetawan, and the truck, followed by pizza and beer. Yeah. Meat lovers. Yep. That's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, so we're into Ralph Bice Lake. I have no idea what time it is. Don't care, just want to get to the truck. It's been a long day. We left at 7:30 this morning. And I said we did quite a bit in one day. Total, well, once we get to the truck, it'll probably be somewhere around 8,000 meters. And so we're about to get into this little bay here, just after the footing, and get into Ralph Bice itself, and hopefully it's just as calm as this bay. That'd be nice. Okay, so we actually paddled up the portage to Daisy, which was a big disappointment because I think we're ready to get out of this boat. So anyway, we just continued on down to the next bay, and this is the portage to Hambone. And memory serves, there's about 6 or 7 rocks colored with all the gel coat. Almost every boat that's passed through here. Okay, so on our way into Hambone, almost at the truck. Can almost taste the pizza with the beer. So yeah, it went well, Ralph Bice. It's just long, very long, especially after the day we had. I mean, we always do this every year, me and John. If we've deemed we've seen enough, or if we're starting to see too many people as we're heading back towards the access point, then we just say, look, how far can we make? How far can we make it? And one year we went from Big Trout to Opiongo in one day. Another time we went from Red Pine Bay to Magnetawan one day. And today we did Thompson to Magnetawan in one day. So you gotta test yourself every now and then, you know, feel alive. Anyway, this will either be interesting to some people or complete bore. We'll see how after I edit it and get it up on YouTube, show it to my wife, get her opinion, although she hates these canoe videos. But I don't know, I actually enjoy doing it. Gives you kind of something to do in the portages, you know, camp other than fish or put your gear up and whatnot. So yeah, I think we had a good trip. Edgar did really well. I think he had fun. Me and John always have fun. And the next one is going to be Canada Day weekend, where me and John are going to head up to Cedar, into Loxley, and then down to Camp 5, and then back into Cedar. And then we have a Crow River run coming up for a week in August, end of July, beginning of August. And then we have a Labor Day weekend trip to Greenleaf. So yeah, well, there's Hambone. Next stop, Magnetawan. Okay, the last little paddle. Dock, Magnetawan access point. And we had a good trip. You had a good trip, Edgar?
Huh?
you have a good trip?
Great trip. It was a great trip.
Yeah, fishing wasn't great, but well, at least we're out there, right?